In 1976, there is a Chabad rabbi living in Jerusalem. So in 1976, unfortunately, his daughter got very ill, diagnosed with Yena Machle cancer, and she had to go to Hadassah Hospital. She spent many months there with treatment. There was a doctor there who was dedicated to her treatment. Family, the rabbi, got very close to this doctor, and unfortunately the girl passed away. After she passed away, the rabbi, the Chabad rabbi, a well-known rabbi in Jerusalem, was very grateful to this doctor for taking care of his daughter, and so he asked him if he wants to study Torah with him as a thank you, as a way of gratitude. So the doctor said yes. He was very irreligious, his wife also, and he said, okay, fine, let's study Torah together. Every Monday night, the rabbi would come to the doctor's house. They would study at 8 p.m., Kabbalah. The wife was not into it at all. The husband loved it. And after a few months of the wife always saying, I'm good the way I am, I'm happy the way I am, the doctor called the rabbi and he said, my wife's very ill. What happened is, she, at nights, as soon as she started to fall asleep, she became very anxious. And when she fell asleep, she got these strange seizures, and her tongue got tied, and she went to Hadassah Hospital, and they ran tests on her, and nobody could figure out what was wrong with her. Nobody. And for 8 days, she's lying like this, and she doesn't fall asleep, because as soon as she falls asleep, she has these pain and seizures, and she doesn't know what to do. So the rabbi comes to them, it's in 1976, and he suggests the one thing that Chabad rabbis know how to do. He said, you have to write a letter to the Rebbe in New York. And the wife said, absolutely not, I don't believe in these things. So the Chabad rabbi he told her, you have to do this, you have to go to the Rebbe and write a letter. Fine, eventually he persuaded her. She wrote a letter, sent a telegram over, and the rabbi told them, if I call you in the middle of the night, make sure you answer, because it's going to be the Rebbe, we need to answer. So that's what happened. They got an answer in the middle of the night, and the rabbi called the doctor's house, and the Rebbe had suggested that she start keeping kosher. She should eat and drink only kosher food and kosher liquids. And the woman was at first very hesitant. What's this got to do with anything? And the rabbi persuaded her. He said, listen, you've tried everything. All the doctors in Hadassah Hospital, the best hospital, they can't do anything. This is what the Rebbe is suggesting. This is what we do. So he brought a whole team of rabbis. They kashered her whole house. They made sure everything is galat kosher 100%. And miracle happened. They started feeding her kosher. And thank God she's cured. She's fine. And she's healthy and happy. Today they're still around. Incredible story. Why am I mentioning the story? Because this week's parasha, we talk about the laws of kosher. We talk about the laws of kosher. The signs of a kosher animal is all in this week's parasha. The Torah says, there's a medrash which says something fascinating this week. It says that Atid HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in the future, when Mashiach comes, the Jews will eat a feast from the Leviathan whale. There's a certain whale which, when God created the whale in the 6th day of creation 5,780 years ago, this whale was male and female. It's the largest kind of fish there is, but God took one of them and put it aside for Mashiach's times, because if they would procreate, they would destroy the world. It's such a powerful creature, huge whale that would destroy the world. But when Mashiach comes, we are all going to enjoy this delicious feast made out of the Leviathan meat. What does this mean? What does this mean we'll all enjoy the Leviathan meat? What is the significance? So the answer is as follows. There's two kinds of animals that are around today. One is an animal which lives in the sea. Fish, sharks, whales, lives in the sea. And another kind of fish lives on dry land. The land mammals does not have to be connected to its source. Right, you could take a lion and you could put him in a car and he's not connected to his source and it's fine, it's 100%. The human being, you could put him on a plane, you could put him in space. He doesn't have to be connected to the land. But on the other hand, you take a fish out of the sea and wait a few seconds or a few minutes and the fish will die. The fish has to be connected to his source. In spiritual terms, what this signifies is the spiritual versus the physical. The spiritual means the connection to God, the connection that we have to have constantly, that we are always connected. The physical, on the other hand, is more dry land. It's more like external. It's more, the physical also is something that we could see with our eyes, right? You could see something physical. You could see dry land. I see it with my eyes. I see materialism. I see. Dry land, I see. Stuff that lives in the sea, I don't see. I cannot see it. That represents spirituality. Livyatan in Hebrew comes from the word yilaveh. Yilaveh, which means connect. Alignment. Eating the feast of the Livyatan is the ultimate alignment between the physical and the spiritual. You see, our job in this world is to align the physical with the spiritual. Our job is to live in this world, to conduct our business in this world, to be perfect in this world, but to bring spirituality into this world, to bring godliness into this world, to make this world a better place. It's called Tikkun Olam. Our purpose, our mission in this world is to make this world a better place. Yes, it's been 5 weeks since the corona, we've been in isolation. It's been 5 Shabbatot without our synagogues open. But our job, our role is, even in this darkness, to align the spiritual with the physical. There's a Chabad rabbi living in Belgium. His name is Rabbi Slavatitsky. A couple of years ago, he gets a knock on his door, and it's a local businessman who's dealing in diamonds. He says, "Rabbi, I made a big mistake. I need a tikkun. I need to know how I can fix this. What happened?" He says, a few months ago, he started to keep Shabbat. He decided, let's keep Shabbat. It was very difficult for him, because the main source of revenue is Shabbat. That's when his store is open. Very recently, about 2 weeks ago, he had there was a fair happening, and all his competitors were open on Shabbat, and he made a decision. You know what? Friday, I go home early, I close 4 o'clock, and I go spend time with my kids. I make Kiddush with my kids, I spend time with them. So Friday afternoon, 4 o'clock, he sees all his competition all open with fancy lights, and they're going to sell, and they're going to make a lot of money. But he went home. And after the meal, the whole time he's thinking, oh my God, I need to go back to the store, I need to sell, I need to also make money. And in the morning, 7 a.m., he makes himself a cup of coffee, and instead of going to the synagogue, he goes to the market. And he looks at all his competitors who all have a lot of customers, and him, he's shut down, and it's very difficult for him. So he goes back home, and he opens up a bottle of whiskey, pours himself a nice big cup, drinks the whole thing, and he goes to sleep. He wakes up, and he sleeps the whole day. And now he's coming to the rabbi. He says, I need a tikkun, I need to fix, my mistake for that Shabbat. So the rabbi tells him, such a person who keeps Shabbat with such a beautiful self-sacrifice, even I can't reach such a level. You see, to have this burning desire to open your store on Shabbat, to have a need to open your store on Shabbat, and nonetheless to refrain from doing it, that is difficult. It's supremely difficult. The job of a Jew is supremely difficult, but that's what we have to do. In fact, the first Jew, what was he called? Abraham and Sarah called their son at the Brit Milah, they called him Yitzchak. Yitzchak means laughter. What does it mean to laugh? How do you call a son to laugh? To laugh? What does a joke mean? A joke, why do people laugh at a joke? Because of the punchline. Because the punchline is unpredictable. It's something that I wasn't thinking, and now it's like unpredictable. That makes me laugh. A Jew is the ultimate laughter. It's the ultimate unpredictability. It's the ultimate contradiction between the physical and the spiritual. The Livyatan is the alignment between the physical and the spiritual. The Livyatan is the ultimate connection, the ultimate tikkun olam, when the Jew has fixed up all his mistakes in this world. One time the Baal Shem Tov was learning and studying with his students in the yeshiva, and there was a person who came in. He had a problem with his wagon outside, and he comes bursting into the academy, knocks on the door, and he says, I need help with my wagons. Can anybody help me? And the students said, no, we can't help you. You know, they wanted to study, they wanted to learn. So he told them, you're able to, but you don't want to. And the Baal Shem Tov took those words and he said, those words are so powerful. You see, in life, the question is, when we say we can't do something, is it because we cannot do it? Or is it because we don't want to do it? The challenges that life throws at us are very difficult, supremely difficult. And sometimes we find ourselves in a predicament that we can't do it, but then we ask ourselves, is it because we cannot do it? Or is it because we don't want to do it? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. The Leviathan teaches us that we are able to overcome all our challenges. We are able to overcome all our supreme difficulties. We can. We just have to want to. This is the message from Parshat Shmini. This is the message from the Leviathan. Hope you all have a wonderful Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.